Peace to Universal Family. It's me, Clarkson. And today's video is going to be about how to forecast your life. It's part 2. So, forecasting your life basically gives you an outlook on how your future is going to be based on current events. So, just like with the weatherman, it can see based on how the clouds are looking and based on how things are structured. It might rain, or it's a higher probability of it raining in the next few days, right? So that forecast right there is a prediction of how the future is going to be based on current events. So we can actually do the same things in our life, with the things that we have currently going on with us. If you're able to analyze the way you do things in the process and development of yourself, you're actually able to forecast your own life. So I'm going to show you how to do it, right? So like me, for example, I know the developmental process of let's just go to a simple aspect of it, okay? So I'll say the developmental process of my social media, right? Like the fact that I'm always posting things on my stories and I might make a post every few days, right? That is something I do automatically. You know what I'm saying? Just off the strength. I'm always doing that. I'm always putting information onto my Instagram to teach you guys and just to express myself, right? So I'm actually able to forecast a certain type of interaction or a certain type of engagement automatically that I kind of know is going to happen based on the followers that I currently have. Therefore, I'm able to forecast, okay, I'm going to potentially get this person to see this post. This, interaction could potentially happen based on something I'm posting. So if I want to make this happen, I can just shift a little bit of this into my life, and that's going to predict basically what's going to happen. So, for example, y'all, I'll give you an example, right? I wanted to engineer. I like this word, engineer. I wanted to engineer a meeting with one of my favorite rappers and mentor, RR the God, right? And I ended up manifesting that into my life by forecasting it. So, how did I do that? I followed him, and I started, feeding into his world, entertaining the content that he gives, went onto the website, show some love, all that stuff, right? But the real ticker was the energy afterwards, like him coming to my page and seeing my stuff, So I had it set up to a certain way to where anybody who comes to my page instantly knows the type of energy, the type of time I'm on. I like to share knowledge, things like that, right? So my forecast was, okay, I need to set up a foundation to where if Double R the God sees my page, he's going to like it no matter what. This is going to forecast our meeting together, And that's exactly what happens. And over time, after I kept liking his posts, and sharing his stuff, he started saying, okay, who's this Clocks guy who keeps sharing my stuff? Like, he's commenting on all my stuff and doing all this stuff. Let me see who this Clocks guy is. Boom, goes to my page, sees the stuff that I'm doing, starts liking my posts. I'm like, whoa, Double R the God's liking my posts now. You know what I'm saying? And then at this point, right? I'm able to kind of see, okay, boom, I'm halfway there in my prediction, in my forecast of our meeting, right? So it was only a matter of time to where he had this meeting that he was going to do with some other channel, and I'm like, okay, boom, I'm going to be there. So he went on live with, I think it's called, not Voice of the Ancestors, but one of these channels on Instagram that talks about Kemetic history, right? So he jumped on there, and I jumped on there too to listen. And they said somebody else come up on here. And I'm like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity that I knew was going to happen because this channel always brings people up. So it kind of all lined up. And I'm like, you know what? This is the moment. So I hopped on. And first thing he did is like, hold up, y'all. This guy right here, Clocks, he shares a lot of stuff. He's a cool guy. Y'all go follow him. So boom, I got the shout out from Double R the God. And that was a solidified forecast right there. Right after that, I'm like, okay, boom. It's solid. We in the books now. Because now he see my face and he knows me. He talks about my name to other people. After that, it was only a matter of time for me to just go into his DMs one day and be like, you know what? Let's set up a session. So not only did I do a show with Double R the God a while back, just talking about cosmic relationships, I also am working with him on some music stuff, like some trainee type stuff. He's pretty much training me on some things. So that's basically how it went down and how I forecasted that from a while ago. Like I've been meditating and really practicing the art of forecasting for a minute now. And that's basically how you do it. You set up where you want to be, and then you look at your current environment and you structure things a certain type of way to lead to a certain situation. And this goes for everything. This goes for working out. If you know that you want to forecast how much weight you want to lose, you have to change your current environment. So your current environment's consistent efforts can eventually lead up to your prediction. This is how you forecast, okay? So that's what we want to do. We want to be able to forecast our life. And what's the point of forecasting our lives, Clarkson? You might ask, like, okay, it's cool that you can do that, but why would we want to forecast our life? Well, it gives you the ability to damn near see into the future. If you can forecast how your life is going to go based on current events, so if you know that you can change your current reality, then you're able to change your future. Then by changing your current reality, you're changing your future. Okay? You can forecast anything. You can forecast a car into your life, a person into your life, a house, money. You can forecast anything you want into your life as long as you know the proper steps to implement into your current moment, like into your current predicament, right? So if you, like you said, like I said, money, right? If you want to forecast money into your life, you know what? In the next month, I want to have a certain amount of money. You have to be able to reposition your current situation to inevitably get to that point, right? Because that's what the forecast is, right? We see what's going on right now, and a prediction basically says, all right, I can predict that in about a month, it's going to rain, or it's going to storm, or it's going to be clear skies based on our prediction. And we know that, but the predictions aren't always 100% accurate, but the goal of the forecast is to get as close to 100% as possible, The probability, we need to be as close as possible, 95% right. That's what we want to get to. If we can get to 95% right in most of our life, we will be manifesting a lot of things we want way faster. Because a lot of times, things will happen to us, and we will be right on the path to get something, right on the road to getting what we always wanted. But because we didn't wait long enough, or we didn't properly forecast when we wanted to get it, we just said, I want it, and it didn't happen when we wanted it to happen. We end up going off course. We end up stopping the manifestation. Like I've done that a few times. I've been my own enemy. I've been the person to stop myself from doing something great before. Like you can really get in the way of your own destiny, and that's something I had to learn the hard way. You can psych yourself out of your destiny. That's crazy. So forecasting is really important, because if you really have goals and manifestations that you really want, you have to forecast it into the universe and make sure every single day you're slowly building towards that goal. Otherwise, you could go on a completely different path that you subconsciously didn't even want to go on. But because of life and how things happen, people leave, people do things, people hurt you, you hurt other people, it changes your perception and the way you look at life and the way you do things, therefore changing your forecast, So try your best to stay on the right path, even though the world's going to try to move you off your marker. Just try your best to stay steady and, live out those forecasts. The other part of forecasting is timing, too, because not all things that you want to forecast into your life can be manifested instantly, Some things take 5 days. Some things take 5 months. Some things take 5 years. So another thing for us to do when the forecasting is to properly, what's the best word I can use? Investigate, I would say, what we're actually trying to do, So like I said, if you want a car, you have to look at your current situation and say, okay, what things do I have to change, and how long is it going to take for me to change that? Can I change the things that I'm currently doing by tomorrow, or is it gonna take me? Is it gonna take me a week? Can I change the things I'm doing right now in a day, or is it gonna take me a week to change it? And if I can change those things, and the faster I can change my current environment, the faster I can start my forecast, basically, right? Because before we can even forecast what we want, we have to be able to identify where we currently are. So if you don't know where you are, you're not going to know where you can even go. Okay? So let's say the forecast is a car. The car is $5,000. You have to identify how much money you're making now, where you're at now, how to get the car, where to get the car, all these things. And once you get that down pat, then you can start forecasting, okay, I'll have this car the next month or the next 3 months, based on my current situation and based on the natural development of where I'm currently at and where I'm currently going, I'm naturally making money. I'm actually naturally making more money than I normally make. So by next month, I actually be making more money than I currently am now. Therefore, I can forecast that in about 2 months, I'll be able to purchase this car. That's a proper forecast. So, but if you know that you're not making nowhere near the amount of money that you need for a car, then the forecast isn't impossible. It's just going to take longer. That's all. And if you want the forecast to still be in 2 months, then you have to make another forecast to say, okay, I need to drastically change my income and my revenue sources. So we need to do that first. And sometimes forecasts come before other forecasts. So before you forecast a car, you actually might want to forecast new streams of income. So within the next month, I want to forecast based on the information that I'm going to start learning right now, that in a month I'll have information on how to create and have multiple streams of income. So within the next 30 days, after the knowledge that I'm going to put myself through, I'll have more knowledge on how to make more money. Therefore, I'll be making more money after implementing those things that I learned. Therefore, having more money to be able to forecast the car. All right, y'all. So that's how we forecast with the perception of time on our mind, because we gotta think about time too, because it takes time to forecast these things. So always have that in mind as well. All right. But yeah, that's all I had on how to forecast your life. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe, and new videos coming soon. Peace out.